Chernobyl. We think we know the story: an explosion, evacuations, radiation, a disaster frozen in time. But the truth is far darker. Because what happened in 1986 was not the worst case. It was the near miss. A catastrophe that almost erased half of Europe, and was stopped by just 3 men. So today we ask: what if they failed? What if Chernobyl actually reached its true, apocalyptic potential? On April 26, 1986, Reactor 4 blew apart after a failed experiment and fatal design flaws. 115,000 people were evacuated. The fallout poisoned land, destroyed lives, and helped speed the collapse of the Soviet Union. But while the world watched the flames, something far worse was happening underground. The melted core, radioactive lava hotter than hell, was sinking toward massive water tanks below the reactor. If the lava touched that water, the result would have been a steam explosion powerful enough to vaporize the entire facility. 3 volunteers dove into radioactive floodwater to stop it. They succeeded. In our timeline. But in this what-if scenario, they don't make it. The valves stay closed. The tanks stay full. And the molten core keeps falling, inch by inch, unstoppable. The countdown continues. Days later, the core hits the water. The result is beyond anything Earth has seen in human history. A mega explosion rips Chernobyl off the map, a blast so massive it launches radioactive fuel from multiple reactors high into the jet stream. A second sun erupts over Ukraine. The fallout spreads like a poison storm. Minsk disappears overnight. Kiev becomes a ghost city. Poland, Germany, Belarus, and Scandinavia become permanent exclusion zones. Farmland across Europe is contaminated for centuries. Tens of millions flee west in the largest refugee crisis ever recorded. Europe collapses under food shortages, contaminated water, and panic. This becomes the day the continent died. Inside the Soviet Union, the shockwave is fatal. The government crumbles in months. Martial law fails. The state dissolves into chaos. Worldwide, nuclear power becomes a curse word. Reactors shut down instantly, triggering a global energy crisis. Economies fall into depression. Nations blame, accuse, and isolate themselves. The Cold War doesn't end with a whimper. It ends with a radioactive scream that pulls the world into a new, dark age, poisoned, paranoid, and starving. This alternate world is a wasteland with glowing dead zones stretching across a continent. And it makes our real timeline feel impossibly lucky. Because history didn't change due to a government. Or a policy. Or a miracle. It changed because 3 men walked into a flooded basement and pulled a valve in the dark. Sometimes the world doesn't survive because of power. It survives because of courage. Which what-if scenario should we explore next? Drop your ideas below, and subscribe if you want more alternate histories that will change how you see the world. And remember, this is just one of the many what-if stories we explore here on Mind Spark Studios, where history, myth, and the echoes of ancient worlds come alive. If this journey make you think deeper about the world we live in, there are countless more what-if stories waiting for you. Visit Mind Spark Studios for more alternate realities, cosmic mysteries, and mind-bending possibilities.